Hello. Welcome to Tutors of Life podcast, where we research life so you don't have to. Episode 313. This is your host, Shaun Tutor.
And this is Sam. And this is a Tutor episode where we try to teach you something new.
Nice. What do you got from today, babe?
We're building a garden.
Teaching people shit. Yeah, so did about minimal preparation for this because I was building a fucking garden all weekend.
Yep.
I planned to have the whole thing built, and I would have had the whole thing built, but we had to rototill it
4 times.
5
times.
5 times with 2 different times of raking it out and picking shit out. It was a fucking nightmare, dude. I guess I didn't realize how much work rototilling was.
Yeah, especially with that big beast.
Fuck, dude.
That big beast was rough.
Man.
But I've also, only ever watched, my mom rototill after the garden's been there for 5 years.
Yeah. Big difference. So, yeah. Pretty crazy. Pretty fucking...
Basically, I don't think we've really talked about this. Last year my garden did great, phenomenal. It was growing like wildfire, and we didn't get to enjoy any of it because the deer came and ate all of it.
The deer and the rabbits.
Every time we had a squash or zucchini, or pumpkin. I think I had pumpkins last year too. Anytime any of them would just start, I remember there was one, it was 2 days away from me being able to pick it. Gone. They ate it. So this year, we're okay, we're going to just have to build a fence around the beds. Plus also, those beds weren't big enough for squash and pumpkins because those just expand so much. So we're we'll dig up the ground so then we can expand the garden. And then, we've been talking about doing it since the beginning of May, and it's beginning of July.
Yep.
Now it's finally happening, and it needs to, too, because my plants are I had put wire over top of the beds this year, so nothing would go in and eat it, and they're all just, squashed down and not happy right now.
They're all squashed.
So, yeah. So, hopefully, I'm hoping by Wednesday that we can free them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that is the story of the garden. Plus, Shaun wanted me to start growing more stuff, so, also needed more garden space if he wanted me to grow more, so.
Sure.
Not much.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
For sure.
All right. So.
What are we tutoring on? Not garden beds.
Just going to throw some stuff out there.
Okay, I like it.
So this is just pulling from my brain that I don't think, I know people, the average person and or investor is not thinking about. And this is going to relate to the majority, but not to all. I guess you kind of relate it to yourself, depending. It has to do with your return on investment / opportunity costs when your income isn't high. When you don't have a high income, and I'm talking well into the multiple 100,000s. If your income's not 250 minimum, this is for you, right? If your income's not 250 minimum, yeah, because everyone under 250 a year.
250,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
A year. This is for you. If you're making over that, you can kind of make a little more mistakes and not be as strict because you're just going to get such a boatload of money in the next month. And where I first kind of learned this was the cash flow quadrant game.
Yeah.
I've played that game and I've flirted around with playing it with multiple different ways. The fastest way to win is not to worry about cutting your expenses. It's to make more money without adding more expenses. That's the important thing, and that's where a lot of people get stumped. You can't or you shouldn't raise your standard of living with your income. You should keep it where it's at, raise your income, and when your income's like drastically higher, I'm saying like you double your income, then maybe raise your standard of living by 10 to 20%. And so,
just like a quick thing, like if you play the cash flow quadrant game, literally like there's a couple spots that are like red cards, was it?
Yeah,
that you would draw, and so many of those things are just like bought a brand new TV minus $1,500,
had a kid minus $800 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah, that one was dumb.
Like, shit, dude, that hurts.
So so literally like they treat frivolous materialistic things as a negative, which is cool.
Yeah, like having kids, frivolous.
Well, the kid was a different square that was not red.
Oh, that's right. It was that's right.
Because every time you landed on it, then you added another kid.
That's right. I forgot about that. So yeah, the whole premise behind it is this: if you're making less than $250 a year, and you want retirement, which you should automatically, if you're listening to this show, just forget about retirement. All right, just forget about it. We're not going to retire. Just forget about retirement. Start retirement now, right? Like, start doing the shit you want to do now. If you got young kids, maybe you have to postpone some of the fun stuff until they're a little older. That's fine. That's good because it gives you more time to save money. And keep a low standard of living. When kids are young, I've talked about this with, like, when Kyle and Katie first started having kids. I'm like, a kid doesn't know where they're being raised.
Yeah, no.
Like, a kid doesn't understand until they're like, I would say I didn't really understand anything until I was like probably 6th grade.
Yeah, I like wasn't, you mean like ashamed or like, like my home was my home. And I didn't like think about like how, like if my home was trashy or if my home was super nice. Yeah, until probably, probably 6th or 7th grade, because that's when I started going to more friends' houses.
Yep. And what I noticed, like, because Kyle and I, from like when I could start remembering shit, at 3 we lived in town, and then like 3, when I was around 3.5, 4, we moved to the country in an old farmhouse. And that farmhouse, I never thought anything of it, but it's just like an old farmhouse, nothing great, fucking bats, flying squirrels in the house, all sorts of shit, right?
Yeah.
And as a kid, you don't even, at least I didn't even register. I never thought of it. Moved up then my parents got we built a new house, or got like a manufactured home brought in. So the basement poured, manufactured home put on. And that was in the 4th grade.
Yeah.
And so then I think around the 6th grade, I realized like, oh, we got a pretty cool spot out here. Like, we got a pretty bitchin' place. I was like, I would go to some of my friends' house and I'd be like, oh, damn. Some of my friends whose parents were like multimillionaires, and I'd be there and I'm like, oh, you guys got a real nice pad though. Like, your bedroom is the size of like Kyle on my side of the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is interesting. And so that you kind of start to see, right? Long story short, when you're young and when you're raising young kids, they don't know. They don't know any better. So what a great way to not increase your standard of living and keep stacking cash, right? Then the kids are reaching middle school / high school. Now you can do more stuff with them. You could do vacations they're going to remember. You can maybe your thing you decide is side-by-siding, right?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe like mom and dad got a side-by-side 4-seater where they put the young, like, let's say you got a family of 3, okay? But boom, the oldest kid maybe has a sport quad.
Mm-hmm.
And then mom and dad got a 4-seater side by side. Okay, cool. Then you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then as the kids start to age up, boom, one of those kids gets a sport quad, or maybe one of them wants a dirt bike, whatever, right? Maybe your activity is just going wheeling, you know?
Yeah.
Well, you just spent 10 fucking years, 15 years saving, militant on what you're doing, making the proper moves, increasing your skill sets, raising your income, so that when that time comes, dude, you drop 30 on that Polaris fucking General like nothing, no big deal. You got that bitch. Drop 10 on a sport quad, it ain't nothing, because you've been militant, and now you're doing. Now you're in retirement zone.
Mm-hmm.
You've built up yourself to where maybe you got 4 weeks, 5 weeks vacation. Maybe you have your schedule set so you work 4 10s, you get 3 days off, and you pull an extra day every other week so you can have a 4-day weekend and go do shit with your family, right?
Yeah.
There are so many things you can do if you stop and think about it. And what today is going to play into is the most important role of that all is fucking being responsible with your money, because early on, until you start making a lot of money, and I'm going to just, in like for this context, a lot of money is $250 or more a year.
Mm-hmm.
Until you start making a lot of money, things can happen to you that will really hamper you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're bad with your money. I'm talking, say you go out for lunch every day. You know, that's a $15, $20 bill every day, just going out for that. Say you stop at Quick Trip and grab a Monster and whatever, a Monster and a breakfast sandwich or whatever, a coffee. You know, now you're at a $30 bill a day, easy, right? So like that, we got to think about. Maybe you weren't thinking you bought a 2020 pickup truck. You spent 50 grand, 45 grand, let's say, right? Say you can, yeah, if you got to text people, whatever. So you spent 45 grand on a pickup truck. You got a $700 payment a month, and you only get 15 miles a gallon, but you got to drive half hour to and from work every day. So you're just racking up miles on a truck that you don't need to be racking it up on. That's going to just destroy its value. Meanwhile, you're paying $700 a month, and you're paying $150 a month in insurance. So your vehicle's costing you $850. Well, what's true about newer vehicles? Maintenance is more expensive on newer vehicles, and so you're spending all this money on something that's a depreciating asset. Well, that's a big deal, because we're easily dropping now, you know, $1,000 a month on a vehicle, on a nice pickup truck, because of your gas expense, your insurance expense, your monthly payment, and all that shit, right? And what is that truck doing for you? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Can you get the same benefit? Can you do the same thing with a $10,000? Dude, I see them everywhere. Everywhere. You can pick up the old GMCs like I had, the extended cabs, 6.5-foot box, 5.3 engine. You delete the fucking 4-cylinder drop off. It's a $300 tune. You drop that off, the truck's gonna last 250,000+ miles, right? You'll need to put a transmission in it, around 160 to 200,000 miles. That's gonna be $3,000. Just budget for it. But so you get into one of those things with 120,000 miles for $10,000 all day easy. And so, you know, why won't that get you to where you need to be if you need a truck? Mm-hmm. If you don't need a truck, well, fucking, you could pick up a 4Runner, you know, for...
We sell one for $10,000.
Yeah, for $10,000 with 120,000 miles. You're going to get 20 miles a gallon. That's not true, probably 18 to 20.
Well, no, that one was better. That one was like 20, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so you get like 20 miles a gallon, and that thing's going to last you to 300 easy. Mm-hmm. Minimum maintenance. And so it's like, you know, the big thing I like to think of is like, what's your vehicle doing for you, right? What could you do with that $1,000 a month? What can you do with that $1,000 a month? So let's play this out. Say you make $100,000 a year, mm-hmm. right? Between you and your wife, between you and your spouse, you guys are making $100,000 a year. You have 2 car payments. So now you're down to $20,000 a year is going to your vehicles. Mm-hmm. Okay, you got a mortgage that's $1,500, and so now you're at $18,000 plus your 20. You're at $38,000 right there. And you get your Netflix, you get all your fancy shit. all your subscriptions that everybody has to have, and whatever. That's an easy another 5. So now, okay, we're wrapped into what's that? 20, 38. So we're at 43 grand. Okay, well, 25% of your income went to taxes at least.
Yeah.
At least. Let's say 30. 30 is realistic. 30 is gone. So you're 70. Let's go ahead. 70 minus your 43. So we got 27. Okay, 27. What do we got to do with 27 grand? We got to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Which, for a family, at this point in time, a family, I'm thinking $200 a week easy.
Yeah.
So 200 a week, that's 800. 800 times 12, this is just rough numbers, right? 96. So you're just, let's say, another 10 bill. So now we're down to 13 grand, okay? Or 17 grand, sorry, down to 17 grand. We got to save for retirement still. So-called retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And so we should at least save 10% for retirement.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're down to 7 grand. Okay, 7 grand has to get us clothes, your shoes, your school bags. It's got to get you a vacation. It's got all these things, right? On 7 grand. Good luck, Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't gonna fucking happen in today's economy.
Nope.
And I didn't even factor in gas. We haven't even talked about gas.
Oh, yeah. No.
So already, guys, you're fucked. So let's take a step back. All right. What's the $20,000 in vehicles? What if we can drop that to like 4?
Yeah.
What if we can drop that to like 4 because you saved up some money and you bought $10,000 vehicles instead of $40,000 vehicles, right? Mm-hmm. Now we just opened up a category where we got 16 extra grand to help out with that stuff. Well, with 16 extra grand, shit, dude, I bet you we could take 10 of that and we could put that on our retirement. So now we're at 20 grand and we could take the extra 6, put it on our 7. Now we're at 13 grand. Actually, we'll be able to do a couple of vacations. We'll be able to pay for gas and shit, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's just something that simple. When you only make it 100 grand a year, like that one thing, just the vehicles, is going to do that for you, right? So we need to really think about when we're not with high income, what's our opportunity cost? Mm-hmm. So how much money and what kind of opportunities are we missing out on because we have a nice vehicle or a nice house, or we go out to dinner every fucking night, or get your lunch every night, whatever? Like, how much are we wasting? How much money are we wasting, which is inhibiting us from getting an opportunity? Okay, so you're blowing money, you're not being smart, and up comes an investment opportunity. Mm-hmm. Your neighbor's selling their house. Your neighbor doesn't want to list it. They just told you about it. You can get it at $50,000 off. You could go, holy fuck, I could buy this house and make 40 grand, because you got to factor in fees and shit, but I could buy this house, make 40 grand on it just by buying it. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, I don't have my finances in check. I don't got a personal financial statement. I don't have 25 grand laying around to put down the down payment to hold, you know what I'm saying?
And I already have $40,000 of debt in car loans.
Right, exactly. Got $40,000 in debt, so my personal financial statement's a wreck. Mm-hmm. And so you can't jump on that opportunity. You can't make that 40 grand. So much in my life, people are like, oh, Shaun, you're so lucky. You just deals just find you. No. Deals find me because I'm looking. I am ready to receive a deal. I have cash in the bank. I have my personal financial statement. I have multiple lenders on my side. I do a dumb amount of looking into things. I know I can look at for the general, I have an idea of what vehicles go for.
Yeah. Like
pretty much across the board, I'm like, I understand what vehicles go for. So if I see something pop up, I'm like, this is underpriced. Like, this is underpriced by 5, 10. I've seen it on Facebook. You see me do it on Facebook. I'm like, babe, this car's $5 grand under cost. I hit them up, and sometimes I get them, but a lot of the times the thing's on for 30 minutes, and I hit the guy up, and someone's already jumping on it too, yeah. Right? But the thing is I've gotten those deals, and I've gotten those deals a dozen times. Mm-hmm. But how many people have cash or have money in the bank where they can go jump on something within the minute? How many people know what they're looking for? Like Ryan with baseball cards. Boom. He just knows. Mm-hmm. He knows what it's worth. He knows he can buy it, whatever it is, right? And so, you take that. What is your like opportunity cost? You don't have money in the bank. You have a good deal come up. You can't buy the deal, so it ends up going to someone else, and you go, "Oh, poor me. Oh, if only he would have just gave it to me on a land contract. If only, whatever it is, right? You can make. I've heard people make all the excuses in the world. But here's the deal. What if you didn't have the cars? What if you stacked cash instead of going to lunch?
What if you did side jobs instead of watch Netflix at night?
Dude, thank you. What if you're doing side jobs, building up a skill set, saving extra money, so that maybe you're a mechanic. You see a vehicle that goes up on Facebook, happens all the time, mechanic special. And they're $5,000. I've sold them. I've sold mechanic special. $400 car, guy comes up, it's a $3,000 car, but the engine was going out. Guy comes up, I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, oh, my buddy owns a junkyard. I can get that motor for $400. I can replace it in a weekend, and I'll make $2,000. And I was like, good on you, dude. Good on you. Like, fuck yeah, dude.
Or the Corvette kid.
Yeah. Yeah. He worked for his dad.
And they both had older Corvettes too, right?
Yeah, so his brother had an older Corvette and his dad had an older Firebird, I believe. Kid worked for his dad building cabins, and he wanted a Chevy to fix up and whatever. And the Chevy that I had, the Corvette I had, needed around like $4,000 in work. And the kid's like, well, if I do it and I have my dad and brother to help and I have the income, the parts is only $1,500. So he can sit there and he can do that shit, learning that. And so now that kid just got, $2,500 off on a car, maybe more.
Yeah.
Because once everything's fixed, then you can ask for a higher premium.
Plus, like, thinking about that car, like, because that was the one that, like, was all tricked out, which was just so perfect for a young kid to get. Just loud and fucking...
The kid was 14.
Yeah.
So cool, dude. So cool. He'll love that.
Yeah, he will. Anyways, sorry, I just had to throw that one in there.
But it's so true, dude. If you do these things, and I understand, like, people got kids and stuff, and you want to spend time with your kids, and I agree, you definitely should. But if there's things where you can go work a Saturday, learn a skill with someone, and your wife can be at home with the kid, and then you come home at night and spend time with them, and you spend your Sunday with them, and you spend most of your afternoons with them.
Yeah.
Like, there's time in your schedule where you can add things, and you can learn these things. There's so many jobs. One of my friends, he works weekends, 36 hours. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3/12s. 36 hours, you get paid for 40. So he has off during the week, Monday through Thursday. And he still has the afternoons on those days, on the weekend anyhow.
Yeah.
So do you think they're going out on weekends and doing a bunch of shit?
No.
No. But they can go out during the week and do shit. If they wanted, he could work that schedule, and his wife could work another job during the week, or he could work that schedule. His wife could be a stay-at-home mom, and he could work another job, learn another skill, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's just like what it all comes down to is you just got to be creative. You got to think about it.
And like Shaun and I have put in our time. Like, I mean, when I was in, well, you were still in college running the group homes, and I just graduated. I was working 65 hours a week at the mall.
Yeah.
Just nonstop, just to like support us, because Shaun wasn't making a whole lot of money at the time, and we wanted to buy a house at some point. So I mean, we did all that, and then once the group homes were going, I mean, Shaun and I have worked a lot of the past 5 years.
We worked a lot of past, like, yeah.
This is the first year that like we've actually enjoyed weekends. Yeah. Enjoyed our afternoons and stuff like that. But even now, like, there's still times where we're just like, we should work more.
Yeah, dude, for sure. I'm like, we're just fucking wasting life.
Yeah.
All here mowing the lawn. What the fuck?
So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there, so you're not just like, well, you just got lucky with a couple of deals and blah blah blah. No, like Shaun and I put in the work.
Dude, I've been getting lucky with deals since I was fucking 16.
And then he met me and then started getting some lemon cars.
That's true, dude. You're the fucking problem,
I was
dude.
With vehicles, yeah, definitely.
Oh my God, dude. You've ruined me.
Do you want it? So here's the funny thing. It's never been my car, right? It's never been my car that's had issues. Like, not growing up, but like once I could drive, it was always my mom's car that had issues. Even to this day, it's still my mom's car that always has issues. It's always your car that has issues. My car's nothing.
God damn, you're terrible.
Dude, it's great. It's hilarious.
There's been a few times where I'm like, hey, should I sell this? And you're like, no. And then an engine goes out. And I'm like, if I would have went with my gut,
yeah,
I would have made out really good. Hey, should I sell this? No. Transmission goes out. I'm like, damn, dude.
Transmission didn't go out.
Transmission's on the way out.
Wait, which? Oh, are we talking about
the car?
Oh, yeah, that one.
Anyways, I think why things worked out for me is because I was always just going with my gut.
Yeah.
Anytime my gut told me something, I just go with it, whatever, win or loss, and then I would regret it later and be like, "Oh my God, I should have kept that" or whatever. But
it's really funny because there was the car we got from Ashland, and in my gut, I was like, "This is a terrible idea."
Yeah, that was an instant fuck.
Yeah, and then you were just like, "No, it'll be fine," and I was like, "Okay," and then it was instant karma.
All right.
So, anyways, sorry, random.
So now we talked about that and just laid a little bit of the ground, like whatever. We really want to think about your return on investment then. So if you don't have a lot of money, do deals that get you more income. Mm-hmm. Don't, when you're younger, or even if you're older and you don't have a lot of income, don't think about like retirement, like putting it in a 401k, an IRA, the S&P 500. None of that shit, dude. Think about like how can I double what I have the fastest? So if you've been diligent and you've been saving your money and you got 20-30 grand saved up, which if you're making 100 grand a year, you should be saving 20-30 grand every year, easy, like clockwork. And you get that saved up, you should be able to. Your only thought should be, how do I double this in a year?
Yeah.
How do I double this 20 grand a year? And then at the same time, you want to be going, well, if my income's 100 grand, how do I get my income to 150? How do I get my income to 200 grand? Think about doubling. Doubling's always like, I'm always thinking about how like I double what I got. And so you're going to have to be strategic. You can't just go buy a real estate deal to park your cash in, right? Because if you do that, okay, how long for that money to double that you got? Well, if you're buying a fucking deal off of the MLS that's getting negative cash flow, or even let's say you're getting $100 a month of cash flow, that's nothing. And you're looking at it and you go, okay, well, I need this thing to appreciate. I had to stick 40-50 grand into it. I'll probably double that money in 10 years. That 40-50 grand. No. What can you do to double that money this fucking year? You got 20 grand. What can you do to double that money this year? Well, fuck. I know how to wrench on a car. I can find cars that I can make 3 grand on, and I can bring them back. I can fix them up. I can sit on them and wait for them to sell, and then I can roll it into the next. And what's happening every time you do something like that? You're able to take that money and roll it forward, right? So say you go buy a vehicle. So you got your 20 grand, whatever. You go buy a vehicle with 10 grand, and you got to put 3 into it. Okay, boom, you did that. And so now what do you have? You've got 23 grand working with you now. Now you can buy 2 cars, and you can put 3 grand into both of them. And you can boom, and you're making a 3 grand profit on each of them. Well, before you know it, you doubled that 20 grand in the year. Same thing with flips, dude. Like real estate is the easiest one. I think real estate's the easiest one to double your money. If you got 50 grand, if you saved up, dude, even if you got like 25-30 grand and you're working with the right bank, you can get a construction loan, you can get $100,000 house, you got to put your 20% down, so you got 20 grand into it. And say you got $5,000 in a credit card. You can do work yourself until you reach a point to get your construction draws to pay off the credit card and pay back that money. And you keep doing that and doing that. And you can rock out a project like that, dude. You're going to make over 25 grand. You could make 40 grand on that, 30, 40, 50 grand on that, right? boom, now you fucking double, tripled your money in a year, you know? And so what's the point of this? What's the point of all this? The more you can double that money, the more you're learning skills for your income, the more you can do with that money. And so if you're able to go out, utilize that money part-time and flip a house a year next to your job. And while you're at your job, you're also getting your skills increased. You're taking on more duties. You're doing more things. And so now at your work, your income, you're up to 150 grand a year between you and your wife because you've increased your things. So you're getting an extra 50 grand a year. Grand taxes are coming out of it. So you get an extra 35 grand a year. Right there, and you're flipping a house a year, so you're getting 40 grand there a year, so you get an extra $75,000 a year just because you took the opportunity to learn more and do more, right? So now if we're getting an extra 75 grand a year, maybe we start subbing out some of that stuff so we can do 2 flips a year or whatever it is, right? If we start doing these things and we look at like the importance of saving that nest egg and stop worrying about retirement. Just shut that the fuck out of your brain. Quit worrying about it. And you worry about like, how am I doubling my money today? How am I getting ahead today? So that in 5 years, 10 years of just grinding and of being diligent, doing our things, we can start spending the weekends going out four-wheeling with the kids. You know, we can take our trips to Europe like we want to do or whatever it is, right? And so you put in the groundwork for 5-10 years and you do this and you built out some systems while you're at it. So now you're working 3-4 days a week at your work. You're making 150 grand a year because you built up your skill sets and now you're fucking not replaceable. You've built out a whole list of subs. You know how to find deals. Maybe you have someone calling or sending letters for you. Maybe you're doing fresh pick leads, whatever it is. So boom. You're flipping 3-4 houses a year. Your profit margin's lower, but you're doing the volume. So maybe you're getting 30 per. So you're doing 90 to 120,000 in profit there. You plus your 150 or 270 a year. Now you're in the high income area that I'm talking about. And so now you can start parking some of that cash because you built up such a nest egg. But now you start parking it into some of those things to give you cash flow, to give you retirement money and shit like that. Because ideally, you know, when you're getting older, you don't want to have to like go swing a hammer at 65. Like if you're in construction, dude, you should be like, how do I not fucking swing a hammer at 65? How do I consult? You know, how do I go just be a consultant? Where can I get extra income from? Whatever. You always want to still be working, but at least you have like income coming from somewhere else, having shit paid off, whatever it is, right? But it's all about how are you taking the opportunities you currently have? How are you being diligent and militant with saving your money currently? How are you living below your means? How are you building up your skill sets so that you can roll all of that in to doubling your money every fucking year or as fast as you're able to double your money to then increase your standard of living a little bit. You're always just increasing a little bit. But so then you can start enjoying your life now instead of worrying about enjoying your life when you retire at 65. And at 65, you've had a shitty diet. You haven't fucking worked out. And you die at 70. So what the hell was the point of it all anyways? What's up, babe?
Are you just like imagining your life right now?
Dude, I've thought about this so many fucking times. That it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah. We, especially with retirement, like we only have my retirement account and we only had it because my previous workplace matched 3%. So why not take the free money?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, all our retirement is rentals, basically.
Pretty much.
And obviously, like,
business.
Yeah, in the business, obviously. And obviously it's not going to work for everyone, like, but because it could be honestly like collecting cars. If you're good at working on cars and you love driving cars around and you know like, hey, this car is worth 50 grand now, I know in 50 years this is, maybe not 50, 30 years this is going to be a super rare car. If I take care of it, keep up with all the maintenance and stuff, it's going to be worth 4 times as much.
Right.
Go for it. Like, if that's what you know and like you like have watched the trends and you know that investment is going to increase, do it. Do it up. But also, at the same time of all this, be prepared to lose some money.
You're always going to lose money.
Yeah.
It's how it works. And you just got to take it as you go with it. And when you level it out after a few years of looking at it, I promise you're going to make a whole lot more than you lose. And you just got to be okay. I was just chatting with, who the fuck was I talking with? Ray at Jiu-Jitsu, about how, like, the average person, dude, if they lose 10 grand, it's over for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a huge kick to the ego. And, like, with what we do, there's so many times that we've lost 10 grand. And it's just like, oh, there's a learning lesson.
Yep.
You know, what can you do? And, you know, some people are worrying about $800 to put tires on their truck,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm like, okay, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, then there's times when you lose 10, 20, you know, $50,000, $100,000, and you go, well, that kind of fucking sucked.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, what can we take away from this? Let's not do it again,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Mm-hmm. And then what do? You take those, you learn lessons. Now you can implement it more. And what's that do? It brings you more money.
Mm-hmm.
And then you recoup the funds that you lost.
Yeah.
All through lessons.
Yeah.
But if you don't start at the bare minimum, and you don't start where you're at today, setting aside money, getting rid of the waste, learning how to increase your income, you're never getting out of it.
No.
You're going to just worry about retiring. You're going to put away maybe 5 to 10% of your income. Most people ain't even doing 10%. Most people are doing 5.
Yeah.
You know, you get your 5% income saved away, and your work's been matching 3%, so you're at 8% saving up, and you're going to go to retirement thinking you're going to be all right. Social Security is going to be nothing, and you're going to have $1 million to retire on, and it's going to last you 5 years, 10 years.
And then you have to be an old person working at Quick Trip.
Right. Or we could have done all these things to start out with. You could be enjoying your life the whole time, and by the time you get into your older age, you can kind of switch the kind of work you're doing. You've built up skill sets, so now you can consult, you know, or whatever. And
yeah, it's such a different mindset to think of, like, okay, if I put in 5 to 10 years of work now, then I can enjoy the next 30 years of life instead of.
Not even the next 30. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I just keep thinking I'm 30, and I don't know. I forget how. So 40, 50 years of your life. Because if I, like.
70, bitch. Put in 10 years. You can get 60 good years. From 30 to 40.
Yeah.
And then you make it to 100.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Beat the odds.
Exactly. But, and obviously we're not saying, like, in 10 years we can just fully retire. Like, we're saying if you work hard for 5 to 10 years, then you can really calm down, just enjoy life like you are right now, probably, but with less money.
Right. Yeah, you can just reel it in, and when you reach that point, you most likely have some stuff that's bringing you in some money, you know, and giving you some residual income
or
different things.
Right. After 5-10 years, you've been able to put the right people in place, so you just delegate. And then you just have to meet up with them once a week, twice a week to make sure everything's running smoothly, have a really in-depth meeting once a month, you know, just chill things.
But it was all putting in the 10 hard years up front. And guess what, guys? It might be 20 years. It might be 20 years.
Yeah.
And then you got to keep putting in effort from there on out. But guess what, dude? I think it's a hell of a lot better if you're 40, 50 years old and you're starting to really enjoy your life. And, like, in the whole time, that whole 20 years you're busting ass, dude, you're making so much more fucking money than you were making anyways. You can still go enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
You just got to be responsible with your time. You just got to look at it like, oh, instead of sitting in front of the Netflix being a zombie, I can go pick up an extra shift, make a little extra money, and then I can go to the fucking park with my kid the next day and spend all day with them or whatever it is, right? Like, you just got to be smart with how you're utilizing your time, and you can really start to make some things happen in life.
Or if you're like a woodworker or a mechanic, have your kids come out in the garage with you. Have them watch you, help you, grab you things. I don't know how many times I sat in the garage and watched my dad work on cars.
So many.
So many times.
So we're nothing like getting yelled at to go get a fucking wrench, coming back with the wrench. You dumb fuck, I needed the socket. Shit. And then you got to go back, and you're like, which one? 10 millimeter. And you're like, well, it's missing. Oh, it shouldn't be fucking missing. And dude, there's just nothing like that. That's good family bonding.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, be smart with your time. Work hard now. Play later.
Well, work hard now, enjoying yourself, so that you can play for a lot longer of your life then from 65 to 75.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there is something I wanted to throw in here quickly. I know how so many people say fake it until you make it. Like, who was the one of the podcasts we listened to? He talked about how he bought like a Porsche or something and wasn't able to make the payment.
Bradley.
Yes, Bradley. Thank you. You don't have to go do all that shit. Like,
You shouldn't do that.
No. Like, be smart with your money. Like, if you have an event and you need to wear a suit, like, I bet you can find one at Goodwill. Go to a good tailor, and because trust me, you can find some good, not to be racist, Asian ones.
Oh yeah.
And they're cheap.
Right.
And you can get, because what, it costs you $30 to get your suit fitted from her?
Yeah, it was like, didn't even make sense.
Yeah. So you could get a nice fitted suit for probably less than $100
Right.
if you just do it correctly.
Right.
So, like, go do things like that. Like, be smart with your money. Be frugal. Save, save, save. Your kids don't need all of the toys. Because I can tell you now, if you just make sure you're spending time with your kids instead of buying their love, they're going to appreciate you so much more, and they're not going to be spoiled little brats.
Right. No, absolutely. Well, like, dude, yeah, on the, like, suit thing, I needed some suits for school and some dress clothes for school. So I went to Men's Warehouse when they had the buy blazer, get the pants or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so then you're able to pop into a nice suit for $300 to $400. I think it was like with the suit, just 2-piece suit, a button up was like $400 or whatever. And if you just slowly acquire a couple of those, you know, you don't got to go out and buy them all, but like you slowly buy a couple of those, it doesn't take a big hit on you.
No.
Like you don't even notice it, dude. I bought a suit at 18 years old, didn't even fucking, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Because I was working, you know.
And women can buy dresses and dress clothes so cheap.
Yeah, you just got to be smart with what you're doing, man. Mm-hmm. And that's all I got.
Just things to think about. Your ROI on your life, basically.
Yeah, opportunity costs. What are you giving? Like, what are you giving up, and why are you giving it up? Does this truck bring you so much joy that it justifies $700 a month? You know, does the truck bring you so much joy that you're unable to go on vacations every year?
Right.
Like, is your vehicle that amazing to you that it's worth not taking trips with your kids, maybe having to pick up extra shifts, being in debt, stressing about money, all that? Or could you get the same thing from a 15-year-old truck that you pay in cash? You ain't got to worry about none of this shit. Mm-hmm. I would think so.
Yeah. And Shaun and I have, like, figured it out. Like, we had some loans and stuff, and it was so dumb. Like, just how much money was just coming out of our bank account from loans. And, like, we had saved up plenty of money, so we were able to just pay them off because we're just like, we'd rather just do that, rebuild that nest egg so much faster than, like, every month being like, well, there went $1,500 to just loans.
Just dumb shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
No one plus the mortgage, so $3,000.
Super annoying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, gang, that's what I got for you. Think about what the fuck you're doing, dude. Don't waste your goddamn life. Put in some work now so you can enjoy your life from here on out, instead of fucking wait until you're 65 to enjoy your life. And guess what? You might think enjoying your life is fucking hitting the bars every night or whatever, and going out on the weekends. But I'm telling you right now, if you actually sit back and look at what enjoying your life could look like, you'll realize that it's not that. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's getting a drink with the boys, or maybe it's going out and doing a golfing or whatever it is, right? Every now and again, for sure. But once you realize that it's not the way to live your life every night, every day, every weekend, you could really see some major changes.
Mm-hmm. This is how you become a non-drifter, by the way, as well.
That's how you become non-drifter by Napoleon Hill. All right, gang, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.